Welcome back to Fire and Smoke, Blight and Bloom. We are Philip,
Abby,
Blake,
Ethan,
Eric,
also known as Dungeon Master,
Odessa Vandiver,
Randolph Higdon, Scratch,
Slivs.
Last episode, the furries were gathered around an apparent meteor, sitting in a little clearing at the top of a mountain ridge. They examined it, they investigated it,
We sniffed it.
they sniffed it, and they found out a few key things. The meteor didn't appear to be affected by any weathering and erosion, and the apparent years and years that it had been there long impacted. They cleared away a section of ground and found a lion's mane of red tendrils growing out of the surface of the meteor itself into the ground, the same kind of red material that Higs found dozens and dozens of miles away from that location. And when they touched those tendrils, they felt energy flow through them, and they could see through the eyes of other organisms, all also ones who had been affected by this red material. The furries decided that they didn't know what else could be done here and headed towards the area that got marked on the map for them about where one of the angels had been spotted by themselves walking through the woods by Edward, Odessa's friend. On their way out of that area, they did see Chops and Chops watching them from afar, but while they were distracted, they ran off to try to lose them. They made their way to the area marked on the map and found somebody's home in the woods after discovering a grave nearby. The grave was marked with the word bear, and they heard somebody behind the home humming to themselves, and Odessa, draped in the cloak to try to conceal her identity and make whoever this is think they were part of the conspiracy, walked around to see an old woman who, Odessa, you recognize as Beatrice, Beatrice Olivero, washing clothes in the river and hanging them up to dry nearby. And that's where we are now. The rest of the furries are a short distance behind you in the woods, staying back and concealed. Just you are out in the open. You're peeking out from the corner of the house right now to see this woman down by the river. You have the ability to go talk to her. You have the ability to go back to talk to the group. Her back is to you. She hasn't seen you. She's washing clothes in the river, humming to herself.
I think I should just go up and approach her. What do you guys think?
Sure.
We did send you because you have a bunch of stealth. If you wanted to sneak into her house or something, that could be an option. We just don't know if there's someone else there.
She seems pretty nice.
Well,
I think she seems
She's
pretty
an
nice.
angel.
you guys can all make a perception check as well.
I think at this point, we don't necessarily know that the angels themselves are evil or have sinister intentions.
All right, I get 22.
I got 19.
15.
Nat 1. Just looking at some butterfly or something.
19 and 22. I think Scratch and Odessa, you being close to the house, and Scratch, you with your keen observation, your sharp eyes, would see that as you look around and gather your surroundings, it's pretty quiet here. Besides the humming down by the water and the flow of the river itself, you're hearing bird song. Not much else, the sway of trees in the wind. Again, it's not very bright out anymore as the overcast sky has worsened a little bit. The sky is blanketed with a layer of clouds. So it'd be easy to see a glow from inside the house if there was one, through the windows. You see no such light. It's dark in the house. This person either lives alone, or at the very least, nobody is here right now.
Or the angels live in the dark and they're very strange, creepy people.
You see a normal-looking woman down by the river washing her clothes.
I feel like they're pretty innocent in this. I think they just happen to get powers and are probably paid and surviving off of that.
But someone in a cloak did shoot.
Well, how many other cloaks are there?
They don't necessarily have cloaks. We don't know that.
We don't know if the angels have the cloaks. Yeah, that's true.
I feel like I want to be nice and just approach her.
Odessa, as you approach and you see her kind of from the side, as she still hasn't noticed you yet, you see a very thin and a little bit frail older Italian woman. As she turns towards you, noticing you, her eyes examine you a little bit startled, but they examine you with a surprise, not with anger, just curiosity about somebody being there all of a sudden. You see her looking you up and down with a furrow of her brow as she notices the cloak. She's in her probably late 70s. She has gray hair with one streak of black in it, and her hair is tied back behind her head in a low bun. She wears simple knee-length shorts made of worn, tan, kind of like corduroy, and a thick white button-up, tucked into them. Her skin is wrinkled, but doesn't sag too much and holds close to her to show a little bit of wiry muscle. Her eyes are hazel, but slightly cloudy. And as she begins to speak to you, you hear a persistent warble in her voice that you notice from whenever you've heard her talk at Sunday services.
We said that angels only say like a few sentences, right?
Specifically, like they say niceties, but they don't
did
really
speak,
say.
but they didn't say anything like
they just
meaningful
do
or
small talk.
interesting. Yeah.
She says, hello, who are you? I recognize you. You live in Slate Cut, is that right?
Yeah, it's me, Odessa, B. Don't you know me?
Oh, I do recognize you. Now, I don't get to see you all too often, dear, but I know you seem to be the only woman that works in the mines. All the other women I meet in Slate Cut are married to the miners, or Dory, who works the shop. But I always took interest of you. I'm very impressed by you. But we haven't gotten to talk too often. You don't come to Sunday services all the time.
Yeah, I definitely went more when my parents were still alive, but since they both died, I have had to provide for myself. Haven't had a man to go the mine for me, so.
Oh dear, I understand, and it's very impressive what you do. Very impressive. Well, what are you doing all the way out here? And also, she looks you up and down after saying that, and she says, "It's an interesting outfit you have on. I normally just see you in miner's garb."
Oh, I still got those on under this, but I'm trying to keep them clean, and this cloak really helps with that.
Okay, well, it's a nice looking cloak. Besides, it looks like it got roughed up a little bit, but sure, it's a nice color. Just interesting, I think. It's summer heat.
Oh, she's so right. Hold on.
She's got you dead to rights. Abort.
You're right. Yeah, it is hot. But haven't I seen you in one before too?
No, I don't believe so. I don't own a garment like that. You can roll an insight check if you'd like.
Thank you.
I bet this old lady is a master manipulator.
I got 14.
You see, you can't read every emotion on her face, but as she furs her brow and says, "No, I don't think so," you see like confusion, like, "No, I don't think so." Like it sounds like she's being truthful when she says that. Doesn't seem like she owns a cloak like that. You would read.
They're innocent.
Then why did Chops talk to the angels?
Maybe they just know about
Follow us. I guess we didn't get much out of them, to be totally honest.
Chops referenced the angels.
Yeah, that was not a good interrogation on our part.
We referenced the angels and then we got them.
Yeah. Plan B. We tackle her, tie her up. We make her tell us.
Oh, but she seems so nice.
She does seem nice now is the problem.
Nice.
But like 20 minutes ago, we would have been cool with that plan.
Hold on. She's nice. She can heal people. She can heal Sleeves some.
She'll be familiar with intelligent animals.
Hopefully, even though that's not something people in the town are familiar with.
But she's an angel, no?
That's true.
We don't know. We'd also be fishing to see if she reacts to seeing a talking animal.
I could also pretend to be a regular animal.
But you guys do have the mutations.
With extra rows of...
Yeah, you have so many teeth, though. Just don't open your mouth.
Yeah. But it'd be cool, like, oh, look, there's a little fox.
It's a woodland creature. How much?
It's a little fox. You want to heal that?
Whoa, he looks hurt, doesn't he? I heard
Come
you
out
gotta
with a
heal it.
limping arm.
Do you look at...
Odessa thinks she's telling the truth, but she wants to gauge B's knowledge on the intelligent animals. And so behind her back, Odessa calls over Sleeves.
Sleeves trots over.
So she said, "No, I don't think so," in response to the cloak thing. And you kind of like motion behind your back, like you're calling to something. Are you keeping your mouth closed?
Yes.
What she sees is a little fox trot out of the woods towards the two of you. And she goes, "Oh, goodness, look, behind you, there's an animal."
Oh my goodness. It's a cute little fox.
Whoa.
No.
"Oh, you poor thing. It looks like it's hurt, doesn't it?"
It does. If only there was something we could do to help it.
"Well, I mean, of course I could heal it, you know. Do you think it would bite?"
No, 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 no. See how sad it is?
Sounds very sad. She makes her way over to Sleeves, and she tentatively reaches her hand out for you to smell the back of it. You know, like you would a dog, to make sure it doesn't think you're a threat or anything, letting you get her scent first before touching you. Yeah. And she starts to rub your head, and as she does, she lays her hands on you, and you feel some healing energy flow into you. It's probably the first time you felt another organism, another creature, do that to you. I mean, the feeling from touching the rock felt like energy flowing into you, but this feels like the pain. You know, you've been on 1 HP this whole time. You've been on the edge of death, holding on because of your body's supernatural ability to heal itself rather rapidly. But you feel the healing energy goes into you.
Haha, foolish woman. You fallen for my trap.
Right after say, thank you.
Yeah, no, you should say thank you.
She is going to do 2 low-level healing spells on you. You would assume she probably has the same limit. You don't know. It doesn't break down for you so much about you, like Sleeves, knowing the levels of exhaustion thing. But you know, healing using your magic makes you quite tired if you use it too much in one day. It literally exhausts you. So she takes on a little bit of weariness in pushing some healing energy into you, and you get 12 hit points back. This poor thing. What do you think happened to it? It's all scratched. It looks like it got attacked by another animal.
Oh, maybe it did. Maybe there was a bear that attacked it.
I hope it's okay. It's so friendly, too. Maybe it was socialized by somebody. Maybe this is like somebody's pet. It just came right up to us, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Oh, well, have a nice one, little foxy. And she kind of like stands up to make sure, you know, you're good to run off.
Sleeves runs off.
You scamper off into the woods. That was crazy. It came right up to us. Maybe it must be somebody's pet. Maybe it wanted food or help. It knew it could look to a person to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope it can find another fox to, you know, be around instead of being by itself.
Oh, that would be nice if it had a little friend. Yeah, I like that.
She's emotions.
She's just so nice. I feel like we're not getting anything.
Do we hear this? Do we hear this?
You guys are faintly hearing. You all 3 of you are faintly hearing this conversation.
Scratch.
Yeah, I know.
Get out there, man. Get out there. That's your
Sleeves has run back into the woods, so I think he's making his way back around to you guys.
Okay. I give Sleeves like a very encouraging nudge because he did a good job not speaking or opening his mouth around this human. Even though he's a little frustrated that it seems like actually this lady is just kind of chill. She's not really up to anything, it would seem.
Sleeves, do you think we can trust her?
She seems nice enough.
I'm gonna try to slip into her house.
Okay, I'll go over there and then you sneak in at the same time. She can't notice both of us.
I don't think that's how it works. But sure.
Okay. Higs, make a stealth check. And Stretch, you're going up to her. You know your visible mutation.
No, other way around.
Oh,
I'm going to the
course.
house.
I want to walk.
I don't
up.
know. So, yeah, that cross wires my mind. You guys definitely said the right thing. I just misinterpreted. Scratch, you're sneaking into the house. Higgs, you walk up to her. So Scratch, make a stealth check.
With advantage?
Do you have advantage on stealth for some reason?
I'm getting the help action from Higgs, who's walking up and distracting her.
That's true.
Okay, you can have the help action. Higgs, you walk out of the forest all of a sudden and start waving your arms.
Like a big show, like, "Hey, Odessa!"
Oh, hey!
So confident.
That's only a 14.
14 beats her passive perception. She's not actively looking at you. She's being distracted. You go and you Scratch, run up to the front door. It has a kind of, the lever handle, the one that's easy to reach up with your paw and kind of like, it's not fox-proof. Exactly. You kind of like press down on it and the door opens slowly.
I can't read, right?
You can kind of read. In the same way that you understand English, you understand writing.
Okay.
I'm glad Cthulhu speaks English.
Thanks, Cthulhu.
That's convenient.
Cthulhu, you're a real one.
Inside the house, the only illumination comes from the dim light that passes through the windows from the outside. The small house is very lovingly decorated and organized, and you see on a table by the window sits a fresh bouquet of flowers in a mason jar. They're the same kind of flowers that were laid across the grave in the woods, though these flowers are freshly picked and still alive. Other than that, it reminds you very much of the cabins from Odessa's Holler, probably likewise very old, but it reminds you of those cabins in stature and the rest of the contents. There's a shelf with some stuff on it, trunk for clothes, bed, table, various things you could look around if you want to do an investigation check. We'll come back to you, though. Higs, you walk up waving and saying, "Hey, Odessa," as you walk towards them, and B goes, "Oh, goodness, do you know this man? Were you together?"
No, I don't know him at all.
For real?
Odessa, what do you mean? It's me,
Who?
Jove.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah.
Sir, if you don't know this woman, you can't come over here. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
No. It's okay. It's okay.
I recognize him now. It's Jove.
Yeah. B, right? You're one of the angels that's working for me.
What? She takes a second to collect herself and closes her eyes. You see she's not angry, not frustrated. She's just like become a little aggravated all of a sudden so first the Odessa happened, and then Sleeves was a little bit weird, but like that's a fun weird, like a fox ran out of the woods, and she's like, oh, well, that's weird. And then this other guy comes from the same direction, saying things that are confusing and jarring to her, and she says, "What is happening? What's going on between the two of you? I don't know you. I know you, Odessa. I know of you. We've never gotten the chance to talk a lot, but who is this man? What are you two doing here?"
This man has been asking for my hand in marriage for years now.
Odessa, that's one thing, but he just Jove.
Right.
What do you mean working for you? Who are you?
I'm Jove.
Okay, that's what you said. I understand.
Can we talk about this now? Like,
I don't know. I'm just trying a different angle here.
It's too late, man. It's too late.
I'm trying out this lying thing, okay?
You guys were expecting just Odessa to go up to talk to her, so this is all very...
Oh, you and the other angels at Slate Cut, and then the other angels that go to the other towns. I'm the guy that's been like kind of orchestrating stuff, trying to get like everyone on board.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I'm sorry. I usually like hosting people. You're saying very strange things. I don't know what you mean. Reverend Fernrow is the only one who talks to me and Lucille and Sam. I don't know what your problem is, sir, but I'm feeling a little threatened by you.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be like aggravative or anything.
Now take a picture.
Yeah, sorry. I haven't talked to you myself, but I do communicate with the Reverend.
Okay, well, that's disconcerting that Reverend Fernrow is talking to someone about the angels and hasn't told us. Don't know what to make of that, but I'm more confused than anything.
I'm telling you guys, we got to tie her up and make sure she doesn't talk to anyone about this because we're really messing up.
Let's go back to Scratch. give you guys some time to cook.
I don't know if I can. I don't have the ingredients at this point.
You can make an investigation check, or if you're just scampering around looking, I guess you can make a perception check if you'd like. Or if you want to avoid an investigation check altogether, you can tell me where you want to look.
Can I try to get into the trunk?
Yeah. You kind of nudge it open with your nose, and there's nothing hiding in here. It's mostly empty right now, actually, because she's doing her washing down by the river. But it's just some clothes. Nothing out of the ordinary.
I'm going to try and get up on the shelves, if I can roll for scamper.
I don't think you have to roll. You can just, roll a dexterity check. If you roll a nat 1, you'll crash and make a lot of noise.
Got it. Nope, we're good.
Okay. Of note, on the shelf, you see besides jarred food, canned foods, non-perishables, besides all of that, there are two things that you find on the shelf. One is an old, well-used hatchet, and an old, not old, but a small book, kind of like a journal that's bound with a leather strap.
Okay. It's bound. I probably can't easily get it open on my own.
You could get it open on your own if you Are you trying to do so without leaving any visible marks that you've done so?
I would prefer to.
That would be a check. You'd know that you could definitely get this thing open.
I just like tore it open?
You could definitely tear it open. You think you could get it open without tearing, but you might leave marks from your teeth or claws.
Is it labeled?
No.
You could just try taking it.
I'm going to pop it open.
Okay, make a sleight of hand check. Sleight of maw
Sleight
to
of
see
maw.
how good you are at opening it with your claws or teeth without scratching it or tearing it.
It's a nat 20.
You bastard. You and your nat 20s.
No
that dice
marks
is weighted.
left at all.
No marks left at all is true.
Like a ghost in the night.
Very gently, you pull at just the buckle with a single front tooth. So you pull it back so the leather strap slides out of the buckle. You open it. You see
Fox season.
some of the most recent entries are mostly musings about a person she seems to care for dearly, seems very fond of, a woman named Lucille. In some older entries, she writes a bit about meeting a Mr. Fernrow, the reverend in a close-by town of the local coal company, and how he's introduced her to two other blessed people, a woman named Lucille Sorsby and a young man named Sam Doddridge. As she goes on in the entries, she writes a bit about how he's helping them all actually use their gifts to help others and quelling their worries about the new attention or their gifts somehow being used for personal gain rather than helping people. The entries are infrequent though, like she doesn't write often. For instance, there's not one within the last 2 weeks. And the most recent one is just, some writings about Lucille.
So it looks like the preacher is the company agent. Can I kind of lay it closed so it's not immediately obvious maybe that it was opened?
You can lay it closed unless you're gonna try to redo the buckle, then it will be obvious that it was opened, but there's no marks on it. So it might just be a confusing moment if she sees it and thinks, oh, I guess I left it open. I don't know. She is old.
Been
Who
2
knows?
weeks. So
Yeah, it's very infrequent, the writings. Like there's not a detailed explanation of her life for every conversation with Reverend Fernrow.
The hatchet, could I get my maw around it and carry it?
You could grab it by the handle, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna grab it and try and just get it out of the door and back into the woods.
You grab it, jump off this shelf where you're standing, elegantly landing on your paws. You scamper out the door and try to bump it closed behind you as you leave, as you go back into the woods. Make a stealth check as you're leaving the house to go back into the woods.
Okay. It's an 18.
Beats your passive perception. Back to the conversation. You go back to the woods, Scratch, and with sleeves, you're holding the hatchet. And Odessa and Higs, you're both with B. And she just says, can you please tell me what's going on?
ma'am, I'm so sorry to come at you like this. My name's not Jove. I'm sorry. I know it's confusing.
Okay, well, I'm not any less confused
Yes.
than I already was. You seemed like you were doing a weird bit, I guess.
Yes. So, I
The
don't.
hand in marriage thing, and
Yeah, that part's actually true. But
okay, well, that's true. Interesting.
besides that, it's all a lie. We don't.
Odessa, dear, can you lean over for a second?
Yeah.
Don't marry this man. What are you considering it? Seriously? He seems crazy.
I know. Just look at his trench coat.
His trench coat is in tatters here. He doesn't seem like a very good man. You seemed cool up until I don't know what you're doing with him, but I just wanted to give you a piece of advice. Okay, we can go back to the conversation.
Okay.
So, I actually just recently got to the Slate Cut, and then I was shot and killed. And then
What?
I was brought back to life by someone who healed me.
Oh my God, are you okay?
And we have reason to believe that it's people possibly working with the Reverend.
Reverend Fernrow?
Possibly.
She furrows her brow and looks confused. Okay, the people
Like the
who
Reverend-
healed you?
Reverend
One of the
Fernrow.
angels? Lucille? No. Lucille and I were together all last night. Sam healed you?
Do not say it was me.
I'm not. It was I didn't see their face.
Well, the only people I know to be blessed healers are myself and Lucille and Sam. I was with Lucille, as I said, and Sam, I guess maybe you didn't see it. Well, can you explain what happened? Somebody killed you?
Yes.
Who killed you in the
So-
town? One of the miners?
Someone dressed in a cloak shot me
A cloak like the one she's wearing?
It's not what it looks
Odessa.
like.
What have you not been telling me?
Oh, don't worry. We were together when she found that cloak. It's a long story.
I feel like I'm seeing the story more clearly bit by bit. So Sam must have healed you unless some other blessed person found you, but this was in Slate Cut, yes?
How well do you know Sam?
Well, he's a quiet young man, but we are often together on Sundays in the last few months. You have questions about Reverend Fernrow and Sam and the Angels, it sounds like. Is that what's happening?
Yes.
I mean, I'm trying to read you here.
We just thought that it's possible that you might have been implicated in it, so I didn't want to
Oh, goodness.
immediately come out with,
I have an alibi. Like I said, Lucille and I were together all last night. This happened last night, you said.
right, yes, we don't believe that you're in on it now.
What were you two up to last night?
She looks down for a second and looks at you. None of your business.
They're bumping ugly.
Oh yeah, sorry. No need to pry, I guess.
Yes, please.
That's your business. You said you're a blessed healer.
Well, I don't presume to tell you what to believe. I'm not an evangelical, and I never used to be. Going to Sunday service was quite a step up for me, but I think the Lord wanted me to make sure I could take of myself after Bear went to the great beyond. It was only a few days after he passed that I first noticed the blessing, so I figured, well, heck, maybe it's Bear on the other side still looking out for me.
Ask her who Bear is.
Yeah,
We don't know.
That's
Is it a bear? Is it a man named Bear?
a platypus bear.
Bury the platypus bear.
Can you tell us who Bear was? Was he like your husband, son?
Oh, dear, no, husband, no. Bear and I were just good friends. We looked out for each other. I never married. That life doesn't suit me.
this was a man,
Yes, he was a man.
a human
If that
man.
wasn't clear, a human man, dear.
Not a bear.
A human man. We were very good friends since childhood. We grew up together, we lived together, and we looked out for each other. He died a few years ago, number of years ago now. Time gets away from me in my old age, but he was kind and gentle and well, I dearly loved him.
Can you think of anything specific that happened before you got your powers?
Before Bear passed, nothing out of the ordinary before that, and besides the sadness, nothing out of the ordinary afterwards. We knew he was going to go for a while. It wasn't out of the blue. We were both old. He loved the forest so much. He loved this forest. He loved the woods. He always liked being out in the trees. He said he liked the peace and quiet. So when he passed, I went out deep there and I buried him. I still try to visit him. I hope he's not lonely that far out. But nothing out of the ordinary, I'm afraid.
You never saw any red roots on the ground?
I had to dig through more than a few roots with all those trees around in that area. I'm sure some of them were red. She shrugs.
She doesn't know enough to say. Maybe she wouldn't know that it was weird when she was digging.
How did the Reverend come to meet you and know of your powers?
Oh, well, that is a little interesting story. I guess if you have concerns about Reverend Fernrow, hearing it might put those to rest. He's a very nice man once you get to know him. Okay, so I met Mr. Fernrow for the first time a few years ago. It happened by chance. His automobile had broken down right near my house in the middle of the night. He said he was trying to get out of the mountains and back to the next town over. Was just here for a little bit of surveying. I insisted he spend the night and have some food or something. This was the winter, you understand. There was no way I was going to let him sleep in his auto or walk to town at that hour. It was freezing. We had a nice night, and he was very talkative. Told me about how he had picked up an odd job for the state government to do a little bit of geological survey of the area. he was so interesting. I felt a little underwhelming with my stories about growing up here, about Bear, about my lonesome life after he passed. He did end up seeing one interesting thing about me, though. I had noticed a bandage under his sleeve eventually, and he explained he had gotten cut earlier that day. I asked him if he could remove his bandage so I can make him feel better. A scratch is a nasty thing. It could get infected. You have to take care of that. So I healed him, and he was taken aback. He wanted to know more about it, but there isn't much to know, so I couldn't enthrall him with any story about how it came about. Just that it was a gift from above after I lost my bear. He seemed a little disappointed, but by the end of the night he was well fed and fixed up and very grateful. He left in the morning, and that was that. But just a few months ago, I met Mr. Fernrow again, but he introduced himself as Reverend Fernrow. After a long conversation, he explained that his experience in meeting me led him to believe that the mountains were a holy place. He had seen the light, so to speak, he said, and left his old life behind to be a preacher and help spread the good word here. He also said he wanted my help to do it, if you could believe it. little old me. Now, I didn't know about that. I don't think my gift is something to be pranced or paraded around. The Lord would lead people to me who need my help, or lead me to them, just like Mr. Fernrow found me when he needed it. But he asked me at least to meet a few other people from around the mountains who were also blessed, so we could discuss it. I was shocked. Others with the holy gift. So I did meet them. Another woman about my age and a timid young man. We brought them here to my place, and Reverend Fernrow was so kind and understanding of our hesitations. After a few get-togethers like that to connect and pray, he asked us to go with him at least to Sunday services in Slate Cut so we could help the miners there. I agreed to it. Maybe this was the Lord leading to me to more people to help after all. And it was a good choice. It's felt good to uplift people, to take their pain away, and to inspire them to better lives. I don't know why I was so afraid of it before. I don't think it's something to be flaunted or corrupted.
Do you get any compensation for it?
No, I'm just going to Sunday service. Why would I ask for money?
Right, but does the Reverend get money for it?
I think he's paid by the company, but the company has to employ people to come all the way out to these mountain towns. I don't know what he does in his day-to-day. Sometimes he offers to take us back. The walk is quite long, you understand. Usually I'll go to Lucille's first, or she'll come to mine and we'll do the walk together. It's nice to have a companion. But afterwards, sometimes if Reverend Fernrow has time, he offers to drive us back. But I don't know what else he does in his free time, so I don't know that it's on an hourly basis, but I assumed he's paid by the company, like most of them are. I figured when he came back to the mountains to spread the good word, he probably needed some way to live off of that, so he got hired to come to the company, the coal towns. It's not a bad position to take. They need people out here.
So you make people's lives better, right? But then they go back to the mines and have a terrible life there. You know?
Terrible is a strong word. You work in the mines.
It's not the most fun thing in the world to do. I wouldn't do it if I didn't have to.
Well, no, but hard work is virtuous. Whether taking the gifts we've been given from the earth and making a good life for yourself is a noble thing to do for you or for your family. In my parents' day, it was growing food and living off the land. Nowadays, you youngsters, you work for a boss to do what have you. It's hard work is still hard work.
But the boss isn't the most fair. The conditions that we work under are bad. The amount of hours that we have to put in just to, have food to eat is really bad.
Well, some people are tied by the money and they have to take the jobs that are worse, and I feel bad for them, but that's why I'm glad I can help heal them. Heal their wounds, make sure people aren't taken away from their loved ones early. It's felt really good to help people who have to do such a hard job. I don't mean to say that your job is easy or enjoyable. I think it's a good message to tell people that working hard will help their lives better. I think that's true.
I get where you're coming from, but we were trying to unionize to have better work conditions. And it just feels like when you guys came in and started, healing people, people turned away.
Oh, well, if the likes of a union would help with that, then I think it's a good thing. I don't know why. I've never said anything against a union. I think we're just there to help people is all. Matter of fact, Reverend Fernrow has been talking to us about going to help more people in other towns. Months ago, I would have balked at the idea, but after seeing how much more good my blessing can do if I seek others out, I've changed my tune, I think. Reverend Fernrow reassured us that he'd take care of the logistics so it's not a burden on us. He's plenty excited, too. He told Lucille, Sam, and I last week that he had some special news that he could share real soon. I think he's planning our first trip out.
Well, thank you so much for understanding. We would both really like to go to the Sunday service. And since you really think a union is a good idea, it would be wonderful if you could at least mention it to people. They really listen to you angels. And I think it would really make a difference if you said something.
Well, sure. I could talk to Lucille about it, and maybe we could bring it up during the conversations afterward. Fernrow does most of the talking during the service. We're just there to talk to people afterwards and take away their pain and such, but I think that'd be a fine idea if you think it's important to you. And on on that note of helping, Higs, are you worried that you're in danger? I could help protect you a bit and put your mind at ease if you'd like.
I would like that. Yeah, I feel like I've been in danger since I got shot. So
yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know who could have shot you. It sounds like it's as confusing to you as it is to me. Especially if you think there's something going on with Fernrow, which I would put a finger up against that. I don't believe that could be true. But if you're worried about danger nonetheless from somebody, she lays her hands on you, and you see that she gets winded all of a sudden as she flows a lot of energy into you, and she kind of puts her hand on her brow afterwards and closes her eyes for a second. She says, sorry, I don't know all the things my blessing can do, but I did find that one out coincidentally with an animal. Long story, but that should bring a mark of protection against you if someone tries to kill you. That's what I believe that I just did. It's a kind of a by-feel sort of blessing, so I'm sorry I can't give better descriptions. I wish I knew how it worked myself, but it's more of a from-the-heart thing.
Well, I really appreciate it, especially if it takes such a toll on you. I wouldn't want you to work yourself too hard.
Higgs, you can make a note that you have Death Ward cast on you. She took on 1 level of exhaustion to do that. Death Ward lasts for 8 hours. The next time you would drop below 0 HP, instead you drop to 1 HP. And she says, ooh, sorry, but that should help you maybe put some fears at rest.
Hopefully, I don't need to worry about it at all.
Did she say she had healed a different animal than Sleeves?
She was rambling a little bit about how she, comes to know about these powers, figuring out each one. So some of the rambling was something along the lines of figuring out that Death Ward thing about casting it on an animal or something.
And then killing the animal, and then seeing the animal only stay at 1 HP instead of dead.
That would be pretty sadistic.
That would be bad.
I hope not.
That's what Sam does with his powers.
Oh, no. I would believe it. For no other reason than surely one of them's evil, right? It's gotta be a bad guy.
Just the Reverend.
Sam Doddridge is Jove.
Dodge Coal Company.
Sorry, one more. Reverend, what's the Reverend's name?
Reverend Fernrow.
Reverend Fernrow is Jove. Just whichever one of those ends up being right. Just keep that one in.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sorry, one more. Lucille is Jove. That one's a stretch, but just in case.
You got to cover all your bases.
There's got to be one more.
Chops are Jove.
Chops are Jove.
I just never got a good look at his face before. He's had really big ears.
All right, there we go. Now I threw a far one just in case.
You guys see as you've been talking for a little while, Scratch and Sleeves, you've heard all this, at a distance in the trees. The clouds have started to become a little bit heavier. It's not terribly concerning at the moment. The problem is, you're still Odessa, you're judging based off of what you saw on the map, probably like hours walk away from Slate Cut. Not a whole day. Obviously, this is a walk that Lucille and B do, but they must get up quite early because you'd say you're probably, if you were walking hard and following the road, which is the most direct path, probably like 5 hours away from Slate Cut. 4 or 5. By the time you got there, it would be night at the very least. Like, it would become dark while you guys were walking, and also the clouds might be a little bit concerning.
We could almost stay and walk with her.
So that's not a bad idea. And then we get to meet Lucille.
Exactly, because they'll walk together.
And just scout her and see if she's Jove.
I don't think she's Joe.
We can check though. We can confirm.
Okay. Well, since we're about to approach the evening, I was wondering if maybe we could stay with you for the night and walk with you and Lucille to Sunday service tomorrow.
B gets a little bit of a conflicted look on her face, and she says, "Oh, I feel terrible because usually I really like, I usually really like having people over, but I don't know that you could stay the night just because I'm a bit old fashioned and I don't know I'd be comfortable with you in my home by yourselves. And I was going to head to Lucille's in a little bit and spend the night there, and we'd go to Slate Cut together tomorrow. So no, I'm sorry. I don't think you could, but surely you have somewhere else to stay."
How close are we to the holler?
Probably still pretty far. To get to where the meteor was, you were walking for half the day, most of the morning, and B's house is only a little distance away from that, so it'd probably take half a day to get back to the holler, just because you'd have to go through the woods over more treacherous and tiring terrain.
We could also wait for her to leave and then sleep in her house anyways.
We could follow her to Lucille's.
How bad would it be if we just started going?
Well, I don't want to spend the night in Slate Cut if someone tried to kill you there.
I have Death Ward.
Only for 8 hours.
We get to talk to the moles, maybe.
Oh, I guess that's true. That's a good...
Yeah, that's
Ned, we can meet up with Ned.
We'll put Ned on guard duty.
He can get first watch.
We're not going to consider following her to Lucille's.
We would just still be outside, I guess.
But I'm could ask to stay there as well.
Kind of want to see what her and Lucille are up to at night. Not like I assume they're doing anything explicit, but if they're planning something.
In case Lucille is Jove. Okay, I'm on board.
Yeah.
No, this is not a bad plan.
Maybe they just play with Lincoln logs.
You mean Abraham blocks?
Sorry, Abby, Abraham blocks.
We could just travel that way because it's back towards Maplewood is the other town.
Maplewood is in the opposite direction. She's going to be walking longer in the morning to go to Slate Cut in order to go to Lucille's tonight.
Do we want to go to Maplewood?
We could say that we're going there and then, oh my God, Lucille. And then we talk and then maybe we can stay there.
What a coincidence. We happen to follow you from your house to this house. She'll be like, whoa, is that the same fox again? Crazy.
It's just a little fox that likes her because she healed him.
That's true.
Plot-wise, I think it'd be a good idea to see what's going on.
But you read the notebook.
Yeah,
what
the journal, yeah.
Was it lovers?
Yeah, what was the tone, Philip? Was it lovers?
Yes. The recent entries were lovers' musings.
Oh, okay. No, let's not go there then. I don't want to.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Right,
Yeah.
so we're not going to follow them to Lucille's
And
house and
well,
be like,
I
oh my
mean,
God.
I do want to talk to the
still.
moles, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
And get those extra bullets, maybe.
We want to risk it.
If you guys, if you wanted to, I'll say if you're worried about the ring, because I'm setting up a risk for you, right?
Yeah.
And I know you're trying to grapple with that. So I'll say just brainstorming wise, if it does end up looking like it's getting worse and worse, more likely to rain, or it's getting darker and you're not there yet, you could always huff it and you could take on a level of exhaustion to get to town before it's too late or too bad.
Which we could theoretically sleep off.
You could sleep off, or you could survivors try to
afraid.
Odessa has a lot of survivors skills. You could
That's true.
try to set up a little canopy in the woods or something to shield you guys or
We can
sleep under.
squeeze all 4 of us into a rabbit's burrow.
That's real Naked and Afraid style, though. They build a bunch of like.
Well, I'm not telling you have to get naked.
No, we can just.
yeah, you said the naked thing all on your own.
We can just do the afraid. We don't have to do the naked.
I said
part.
survivors. That's like
Wait,
an
but they're both
equally-
naked.
That's true.
We're already naked and afraid.
They're naked. We're
afraid.
half naked. I'm afraid. That's true. So, well, if you're gonna head over to Lucille's, then I think Odessa, maybe we should head back to Slate Cut for the night.
Yeah, sounds good with me.
It was nice talking to you, and thanks for all your help. See you tomorrow morning.
Okay, I feel a little bit ashamed. I'm sorry to not take you in for the night, but hopefully I think you'll be able to get to the Slate Cut before it's dark.
Yeah, absolutely. Have fun with Lucille. And Odessa winks.
She blushes. Oh, we will. And then you guys walk away back towards where Scratch and Sleeves are crouched down in the woods.
Grape.
Yeah.
I know for a while you were like really attached to the whole gun thing, and you were thinking, "Oh, I'll be like a
You
guy."
see Scratch, so he's, unless you've hidden it somewhere, Scratch has a hatchet on the floor in front of him.
That's true. That's true.
I know you were like, "Oh, I'll be a guy with a gun," but then you couldn't hit anyone with a gun. It was a real problem for you.
Right.
So
I tried once, and it did not go well.
It was really embarrassing. So I thought, what would be less embarrassing? Hatchet.
Like
Right?
an axe.
You just like, and he's like kind of flailing a paw, pawing at you vaguely.
Okay.
Yeah, you see a little hand axe.
Oh, where'd you find this?
It's a fox thing.
Okay. Cool. Oh, it's a little heavy, isn't it?
No,
No.
I'm like
No.
a third of your size, and I was able to carry it pretty easily.
Right. Not that heavy when you actually think about it.
Are you sure? Your face is turning red.
It's fine.
You want me to hold it for you?
I start doing like dumbbell reps with the axe as we start walking.
All right, so you guys, you fill each other in about what you learned. Scratch confirms kind of what he read in the journal. And you guys walk down the road. You're about 5 hours away at the start of this journey. As you're walking in the first couple hours, the sun is going lower and lower, getting to the point where it's still behind the clouds, but the clouds are getting even darker. And you feel like the sun might be setting relatively soon. It seems like maybe there's a little bit of a misjudgment about exactly where it was in the sky, but you're about 3 hours away now. It's looking like the rain will probably happen, maybe even some misting in the air or very light raindrops like that might happen before a storm. So if you guys would like to do the huffing it thing to get there faster, it would just require you to take on a level of exhaustion. So it's up to you. I would also say if you're walking in the dark with cloud cover and potential rain, it will be, there's no houses or lights out here. It will be incredibly dark. So one of you might have to like rip off some cloth and make like a torch or something to light the way.
I have like a little bit of like what oil and like some matches in my satchel.
Yeah, or maybe your Odessa does in her, overalls, different little things she keeps for functionality in there.
Yeah, so I'll rip off some more of my trench coat. It's about down to like maybe mid thigh at this point.
It's just a
So
biker vest.
it's like a shirt now,
it's
like,
like
a vest?
if I were to button it, it's like a vest. Yeah. And maybe grab some like a big stick or something and try to fashion a torch.
Yeah, you can fashion a torch. I'm not going to make you make a check for that. And are you guys trying to push yourselves to get there faster to beat the rain, or are you walking without taking on exhaustion?
I say yes.
I think we should.
Okay.
Really?
It
Don't want to be
couldn't
caught out here
hurt.
and maybe even like chops is
I'll
back
say
on our trail at this point.
You don't need to take on, you wouldn't have the exhaustion unless you like made it a majority of the way there. If you stopped or something before, then I wouldn't make you take a level of exhaustion.
We only huff it if we make it.
You're
we
huffing
only,
it.
we only get the exhaustion if we make it.
Yeah.
I
If
guess
you
I'm
decide
down
to
then.
stop. What'd you say? Did you say something?
I'm just saying, I guess I'm down then.
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 Abby, do you guess you're down then?
I guess I'm down then.
I guess everybody's down then.
We guess
You
we're
all
down then.
Walk on, picking up the pace and straining your muscles and getting a bit tired. Traveling by torchlight, Higgs holding the torch, as it gets harder and harder to see ahead of you. A short while later, a drizzle has started as light rain comes down from the clouds above. The sun is fully set now, and it's dark. It's very dark out here. No lights for a long area around you, combined with the moon and stars covered up by the storm, makes it near pitch black. The four of you, with your circle of torchlight, are an island in the abyss. However, the drizzle is starting to cause the torch to flicker a little bit and dance. Still, you all push forward, determined, looking ahead, down into the unknown darkness towards Slate Cut, trying to get there as fast as you can. In that darkness, you see something, though. Probably over 100 feet away or so, like in the distance, in the void, something reflects your torchlight back at you. A single pair of eyes low to the ground, sharp and glinting green. Then a second pair next to it. As you notice and stop, you hear a low noise. Hello?
Is that who I
Fancy seeing meat here. Fuck, meeting you. Oh, forget it. No, that was good. Fancy seeing meat here, but with an A.
That was a good one. I like that one.
The eyes in the darkness are stationary. They're unmoving as they watch you.
Fancy seeing you here after Chops over there almost lost us earlier.
You see one of the they're in total darkness. You're not seeing Chops, you're seeing eyes. But you see one of the pair of eyes becomes not visible as it must turn towards the other one, and you hear a low growl. I didn't lose anything, did I? And kind of looks back, and the eyes turn, and both are looking at you again. We had another idea. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Hang on, let's get in the huddle.
Oh, okay.
You see, you probably pissed them off a little bit getting in a huddle.
Oh no. We could huddle with them.
Well, we asked for huddle with
Last
them.
time we huddled with them, they tried to
Sleeves,
kill us.
what do you want to do?
I say we huddle without them.
Okay, you guys get into a huddle to talk.
Well, he's usually the ideas guy, right? Way too loud, so they're able to hear it.
I don't know. His last idea, honestly, the more I've thought about it, the less impressed I've gotten. I feel like maybe the other one has the better plans.
You
Yeah.
hear a growl, and you hear interrupting your huddle. I have good ideas. You're gonna hear it anyway. You'll see. The boss said not to kill you, just to follow and see where you went. He said we couldn't kill you because you might lead us to the big mushroom. Guess he had a change of heart for some reason. Chop says, well, surprise, bozos. We followed you again, but this time far in the distance on your trail, and also not wearing a cloak and walking on two legs and stacked on top of each other. Chops interrupts her. The point is that we're better at sneaking. You guys didn't even see us.
I'm gonna turn back to the huddle.
So I guess they're better at sneaking if they don't follow that really stupid plan from before that I guess must have really screwed them up.
Right, but like even this time, Sleeves, you saw them, right? That's why we started like running at that one time, you know, earlier.
They're pretty bad at this.
You interrupting your huddle again, trying to demand your attention as you guys are like looking at each other in the huddle, just like trying, like yelling over your shoulder from the darkness because they had this really cool thing in mind and it's not working out in their favor. You're like really easily able to ignore them.
Well, they can't kill us. What are they gonna do?
He calls out and he says, "You didn't see us. We sneaked,
Snuck.
snuck. I knew that." And you see Chop says, yes, and snuck we did. We followed you all the way up to the apparent forest guards. How did you get past those stupid trees?
You ever heard of something called Be Nice?
They just let us in.
Because we're better.
Whatever. We couldn't make it past those blasted trees. And we tried really hard, but the bushes kept throwing rocks at us when we climbed in the trees to avoid the roots. It doesn't matter. We couldn't make it through, but we're sure the mushroom is on the other side. So we got what the boss wanted, a location. And your trail was easy enough to pick up again. Yes, a location. And if that was the reason the boss said we couldn't kill you, then that must mean we're able to now. That sounds pretty good to me, Chops. Let's kill them first and ask questions after. The angels could always bring you back if you wanted them to. I hope not. You hear them snarl from the darkness, the rain picking up, as your fluttering light flickers and shrinks. And that's all for this episode of Fire and Smoke, Blight and Bloom. If you want to keep up with the show, you can follow me on my personal Dungeons & Dragons TikTok account at WitchDumphy, WHICHDUNPHY. If you're enjoying the show so far, if you think if it's given you some smiles or anything, you can leave us a rating. Do you like
Philip,
ratings?
what if it's giving them frowns?
I'd be really sad if it was giving them frowns.
Well, they can feel sad for something, you know.
Well,
if it's drawing emotion.
They're
What if it's
supposed
giving
to
them
be-
gasps?
In addition to all the funny stuff, there's supposed to be some heavy stories. So I guess maybe frowns. As long as overall the feeling is it's good. We like ratings. We like ratings.
We do like ratings.
I like ratings.
Yeah, we like
Rate it.
ratings.
We could take maybe 2 ratings. Just in
If you could
general.
get 2 per listener, please.
True for listeners. If
Apple
everybody
Podcasts
makes, if
and
everybody makes a
Spotify.
second account, that would be great.
That's true.
Anyways, does anybody else have anything they want to say before the end of the episode?
These are really strange, reoccurring villains.
I just want them to like us. I'll say it.
It is a little bit jarring, right? It's been a matter of hours since you faced them in the woods.
Yeah.
Because you faced them, you waited for Sleeves to heal, you got up and found the meteor, you went to talk to Lucille's, it's later in the day, you're walking back, and now all of a sudden they're telling...
B.
Oh, sorry,
You
B.
keep mixing them up.
Yeah, I keep mixing them up. They're just a pair in my mind. Heart symbol. You are walking back,
Can't
and all of a
say
sudden...
heart symbol out loud.
Well, they can't see that we're doing the heart symbol.
Oh, I see.
You do have to say it out loud.
Mm.
So it is crazy. I mean, it seems like you're in a bad position right now, but also you got Death Ward, you got a hatchet now.
I mean,
A few scant things have changed, but if they're telling the truth and they were really trying for a long time to get to through the trees, maybe they haven't been anywhere else. In that case, Chops is still probably looking pretty bad. I don't think brother Chops, I don't think he took any hits, but you guys got some damage laid into Sister.
maybe if we like sucked up to them a lot, maybe we could get them to not attack us.
But also, I don't
Maybe.
like them, so I like it when they get upset.
Yeah, it is really funny.
It's
when
just
they get
really
upset.
satisfying to piss them off.
Does anybody else have anything you want to plug? Ethan, game? You want to talk about game?
Yeah, I'm still a game developer. You gotta
Still a
find my
game
YouTube
developer.
channel, Whistle Factory. It's the name of my studio. It's where you can find all of my work in progress videos and updates and find out more about my game. I'm also on Twitch sometimes. You'll find the info there.
See everybody next episode as the Furries face off against Chops for a second time in one day.
And hopefully get back to
Slate
Cut.